Now we can set a trap for him.
Makes sense to me. If you need to use me as bait, I'm all in.
No way. On that message board, that guy said that he wanted me to disappear so he could have you to himself. I'm gonna be the bait.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Daysofourlives, January 23rd, 2026. Now, we start off with the whole Stephanie, Alex drama at this point because it has taken up most of this episode today, and I just feel like it shouldn't have been maximized, but we are here now because now Jeremy is arrested. Stephanie and Alex know about it, and they are reacting to it all. Now they're thinking that it all points to Jeremy because of his past with Stephanie. It couldn't be nobody else. And Steve comes out, of course none of them could sleep because of the news, but Steve also was being rational about it and said that, look, not because Jeremy has been brought in for questions means that he's the one behind it. It could be somebody that's pinning it on him, but they the couple doesn't think, okay, who would really want to pin on Jeremy. But Steve said that he may have enemies because of his rough past, so that could be a plausible thing, but we just have to keep our guards up. And because of that, I have to keep on staying here because it's no guarantee what he may do. There's a guarantee that somebody else might be behind this, so they just got to keep their guards up. And Stephanie's saying that if he moves an inch towards her, she's going to be ready for whatever. And Alex and Steve said that they're going to be backing her up as well. Now I just feel like they just want to just automatically point to Jeremy because he had a past with Stephanie, and it wasn't really a nice past. But again, it wasn't him that's behind it, because clearly we can see that there's somebody else in black clothing with gloves. It doesn't look like Jeremy, and Jeremy he's not that into you anymore to really harass you, Stephanie. Like, get over yourself. He does not want to cause any problem for you. Like, he wants to move on because he's just tired of defending himself. Everybody keeps berating him at this point. He's a town pariah. He's just over it. Now, Stephanie needs to get over herself. Alex needs to get over it as well. Like, it's not Jeremy, and I can't wait till it's proven. Now, Belle and Marlena have a little talk. She asked her how the book meeting went, and she said that it went really well because when it was her turn to speak, she didn't have nothing to say. She wasn't ready, and she just feel embarrassed by it all. But I'm just saying, I'm with Belle on this and said that, she shouldn't be embarrassed because she should understand that she just lost her husband recently. She doesn't have to talk. She doesn't have to speak on her feelings right now. Everybody grieves differently, and even Belle said that, how would you take this if you were one of your clients? And she would say, she was saying they would not take it. They wouldn't. Everybody grieves differently, and everybody grieves in different forms, and it's okay to not have the right words to say or express your feelings. It's okay, right? It takes time, and Belle was just reminding her of that, and Marlena thanks her for that reminder. Now, I guess she's gonna be ready for another book meeting, when it's the right time. Now, at some point they talk about Basic Black and Brady leaving and who is going to really take over, because it is right to have somebody in the family take over, carry on John's legacy. So Belle suggested that Marlena be the one to do it, and Marlena said that she doesn't have any business knowledge, no skills of that sort. So Belle said that, look, you said that, you were thinking about retiring, but you're not doing it anymore, and you want to go back in your practice. Maybe this can also be an outlet for you. You can oversee things. You don't have to go in every day-to-day operation, but you can oversee and make just check off decisions on behalf of the family. Like, maybe you can, be in charge. So she said, she'll think about it because she does, care about what happens to the company. At the end of the day, it matters a lot to her. So Jeremy's being held for questioning. He's at the Salem PD headquarters, and Melinda is there. She's going to be representing him. So she's surprised that he called her because, again, the Hortons just think less of her, especially Julie. But he said that, he was going to go with Justin, but, given that he was accused of going after his son. Oh yes. I was just questioning that while I was watching it, but I didn't realize that Alex is Justin's son, one of Justin's sons. So I get why, you know, Justin would refuse to represent him. It would look away. So now just Jeremy had to go with Melinda, and you know, he was told that she's a shark. Well, definitely I think that Melinda, when she has a case, she always is on top of her game. I don't ever hear of Melinda losing a case. Like Justin, now I think you made the better choice regardless of why you decided not to go with Justin Jeremy, because Justin has never won a case. Like in all his time being the lawyer on the show, I've never heard of him winning a case. But Melinda, you made the best bet. Anyways, you know, he present the facts to her and tell her that, look, because of his history, Stephanie's being framed for creating that URL, creating that website that's shrine to Stephanie. He didn't do it, right? He's not interested to like harass her or Alex at all. So he wants Melinda to just represent him and to make those charges go away. Now she tells him that, you know, they don't really have any concrete charges to place on him. It's all substantial evidence. It's not something that will hold. So she tell him not to really worry about that. They can only hold him for a certain amount of time, and then they have to release him. While that is going on, Julie is outside, and she hasn't left since Jeremy was brought in for questioning. She hasn't left to go home because she believes in Jeremy's innocence. She believes he didn't do this, and Jada said that, look, you need to go home, you need to get some rest. And she said, like, what am I gonna do, go take a nap while you're here harassing Jeremy even though he did not do anything? You guys don't have no evidence against him. And she's like, why don't you have JJ or Sean question him? And obviously, like, I'm thinking, well, Julie, it's biased, but at the same time, you're kind of right on what you said to Jada after, because Jada was saying, you know, conflict of interest, but Julie laughed at that. Julie said what I've been thinking as well, that, you know, when has conflict of interest been an issue in the CLMPD? Because when it was somebody else that was close to the rest of them, like Jada or Rafe, they did not bat an eye about conflict of interest or bias at all. So I liked how Julie just put Jada in her place. She had a lot of comebacks. Honestly, Julie is warming up. You know, she's rubbing off on me a little bit, just a little bit, because I still can't stand when she's very sanctimonious and self-righteous, like, you know, Jennifer over there. So Jada comes in and have a meeting with Melinda and Jeremy, and, you know, she wanted to hear what Jeremy has to say. And Jeremy's on record saying that, look, I did not do what I'm being accused of. I did not set up that URL. I did not harass Stephanie. Did not do all of that. So, you know, Jada had to make a little, snarky comment about that was really helpful. And, you know, I don't believe it, right? So Jeremy said, like, you know, I mean, I did not do it. This is my word. Like, I don't understand why you don't believe me. So she said, I want to believe you, but it's like, you know, all of the evidence is pointing towards you. So Melinda just fact check Jada for a bit and said that, look, you know, you don't have diddly squid to hold my client, so it might as well you just, like, are you going to press charges, or are you just going to let him go? And Jada's like, we can hold it for 12 more hours. And she's like, really? And just waste our time and the taxpayers' time? Like, let the man go. So Jada just tell him a strong warning, do not leave town. And Jeremy said, I was planning to move. And I remember, before I forget, like, Julie was telling Jada that he wanted to move. Like, earlier he was telling her that he wanted to move because he's tired of people, you know, placating him, tired of people just actually, like, not giving him a fighting chance, and he was about to move. So, you know, that should be believable. But I'm just saying, Julie, looking at it, it could, you know, make him a suspect, because maybe he's done the crime, and maybe, you know, he had to move so that it, you know, he doesn't get in trouble for it. So it can look shaky depending on how, you know, you look at it. So I don't think that was the right thing that Julie should have done, and Jeremy should have said, because then they're gonna be looking at him, because, like, why does he plan to even move, like, if he's not guilty of something? Now, Julie went over to Marlena's, and, you know, Marlena heard about what's going on with Jeremy and his accusations, him being held for questioning, but then he was released, according to Jada. So Julie comes over, and, you know, she apologized yet again for making Marlena uncomfortable the book meeting, and Molly said it's okay, she just needed to just get out, have some air, just really not ready for this whole thing, and she understands. Now, Julie spoke to Belle because she wanted to get her opinion on everything, and just to tell her that Jeremy is been framed. He's been framed. He's innocent of this all. He was planning to move before this all happened because he was just tired of people, wanting him to just, pay for what he's done in the past, continuously, making him feel uncomfortable. That's why he wanted to leave before this all happened. Now, do they really have charges on him? Why can't he leave if there's nothing on him? So Belle said, look, that was a strong suggestion from Jada, but legally, it's not like he's confined to Salem. He can still leave. It's not like he has charges, but, if I were Jeremy, I would really want to fight for my innocence before I, make a move out of here. Now, Jennifer and Chad had a little talk. I was definitely enjoying the conversation because it seemed as if Jennifer Miller done, but then I remember that I don't like her, and I will tell you why. Now, earlier before, we get into that, they're talking about Jeremy's arrest and that Thomas was supposed to go with Jeremy. Jeremy was supposed to, bring him to school today, and, they're thinking of how they're going to break the news to Thomas or if they should wait. And, Chad doesn't believe that he's capable of that. He seems like a great guy. He's great with the kids. Thomas likes him. And Jennifer doesn't want to believe him, but at the same time, all they can do is just wait and see what happens. Now, they sit down and talk about the mediation and how Thomas feels towards Chad still having, full custody. He does not really trust him because, he broke his promise the first time, even though I know he did not. He did not break his promise the first time. He did not be with Kat after he promised Thomas. He just was hugging her because of something that happened with her mom, and he misunderstood it, and Jennifer fueled it. Again, this is all because of Thomas and, his wants and needs and his happiness. And we all need to look at children's happiness and their wants and needs. But what about the parents' happiness? Like, Chad is not supposed to date. Chad is not supposed to, move on with his life. He's supposed to just be single and unhappy. He needs to move on. He needs to be happy again. Abigail is dead and gone for over 3 years now. They need to stop trying to dictate. And he even said that, her and Thomas need to stop dictating who he can have in his personal life. And she said, it's not even that. It's really, we don't want you around Kat and all of that. And I'm like, where is Kat supposed to go? Somewhere else? Put her at another state, another country? She's going to run into Chad. Chad is going to run into her. And as Chad even said later on to Thomas, that he's going to run into her. He can say hi, he can be cordial, but it doesn't mean they're romantically involved, and they just need to just move on and get over it. Now, Chad tells Jennifer that he is going to talk to Thomas about this, how he feels, but he doesn't want her involved. And of course she didn't like that, but I like how Chad stood up to her and demanded to talk to Thomas by himself, father to son, and not her involvement, because we realize that because of her involvement, Thomas is, is feeling Thomas's hatred, and the fact that he can feel like, his 10-year-old little self can, stand up to his father and demand that, okay, if things don't go his way, he's going to run off to Boston with his grandparents. It shouldn't work like that. He is a child. Chad is the adult. Chad is the parent. He makes the executive decisions at the end of the day. And Chad and Thomas need to understand that. And that's what Chad even said to him, because Thomas was saying, if I don't like something, I can move with my grandparents. So Chad is saying, look, there's going to be times you're not going to like what I said, if you have to eat vegetables, or if you have to do your homework or go to bed earlier. If I ground you, you have to deal with it. I'm your father and I know what's best for you, and you can't just want to immediately go to your grandparents every time some rule is laid down. And he understands that now. He gets it. Now, Chad said, on my end, I can make you trust me more by just having in writing that, I won't have a romantic relationship with Kat, so that your grandparents will revisit the custody case, and things will be good. So Thomas agreed on that, and I think that's a great solution to everything. Of course, Thomas wished that things were normal back with mom alive and everything, and that's understandable for a child, and even Chad wished that, but they have to live in the present and the reality of it all. And Chad did call Melinda to have that set up. Melinda thought that that was a bad idea and that it would, he would not have leverage over Jennifer and Jack. But he says not to protect him, it's to really make things right for his son. And she understands. She said that she will send it in email to him. Now, Thomas liked the idea and, it's a great solution to it. I think it's a great solution to this. And, Thomas needs to understand that he needs to just, take a few steps back. He's a child and his dad knew what's best for him. At the end of the day, I think Chad is a great, awesome father. And I like that Chad was standing up to not only Thomas, but Jennifer and putting them in their place. So Jada comes over to Steve and, Alex and Stephanie, and she basically tells them that she had to let Jeremy go. They didn't have any evidence, and they're talking about what about the URL. So she said there's no proof that he really did it, but at the same time it's not illegal to make a URL and target anybody, I guess. So now they're wondering, like, what do they need to do now that he's released? Like, it doesn't make sense. So Steve said that, look, we have to draw it out of him any type of way. And I'm saying he's saying this boldly in front of the police commissioner, but Jada didn't want to hear it. So, she pretends that she doesn't want to hear what their plans are. But I'm just saying, the fact that he can just talk like this, like make a threat like that in front of the commissioner, you see what it means, what Julie said about conflict of interest, because they can talk about these things recklessly, make threats, but yet still she's not going to penalize them. Anyways, there's a knock at the door and there's a delivery, a gift box, because not a knock, well, Jada said that there was a delivery box outside. So Steve goes out there with gloves, takes it in, and he looks at the card. It's supposedly from EJ congratulating Alex and Stephanie. And Stephanie is surprised because EJ, for all her work that she did for him, he has never really thanked her. So it's just weird coming from him. So Steve was saying that this is not from the person that we expected. So now they're just, wondering what to do next. And Stephanie was offering herself as bait, but Alex said, no, this person's after me. Let me be the one to offer myself. Now, while this has happened, the person that is stalking Stephanie in the black, he's there with a recording device. Seems as if the recording device is on the gift. So now he's bugged the gift, and now he can overhear the conversation and plan his next move. We know it's probably Owen or some other ghost of Stephanie's past. Like how many ghosts she has, I'm not really clear, but yeah, that is it for today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week. And for those of you who are in America now, I just want to, pray for y'all and hope that you guys are safe and preparing for this storm that's affecting certain states in America. So if you're in any of those affected states, just keep warm, stay safe. I'll see y'all next week.